Visit goldenerabookworm.wixsite.com/website for courses from the bronze and silver era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today we are going to look at the Zeller Curl as invented by Artie Zeller, otherwise affectionately known as Artie Zeller. Now if you don't know who Artie Zeller was, Artie was a silver era bodybuilder with aspirations of winning the Mr. America early on in his career. And the Mr. America back then was the most coveted title of the silver era. However, later he actually became a very famous physique photographer. As a youth, unfortunately, Artie had a severe back injury, and once he started bodybuilding, realized that he couldn't train his lower body as effectively as he wanted to, and so he focused on his upper body, specializing especially in curls, and in doing so he came up with the Zeller Curl, and his results are obviously magnificent. As a bodybuilder, Artie was well known for his amazing full round biceps development, as shown in this photo of Artie performing a most muscular pose. Look at that magnificent round development of the biceps. How sensational! They're just bursting out, three-dimensional almost. Incredible development of his biceps, and he attributed his development much to the Zeller Curl, which he invented. So let's have a look at Artie Zeller and the Zeller Curl in this video. Now Artie Zeller, as mentioned earlier, he was actually a very famous weighted photographer later in his career, and he's shown here actually in the photo. You can see that he's holding a camera as he's taking photos of the greats. I mean, all those nostalgic photos from the golden era and the silver era that you see were mostly taken by men such as Artie Zeller. And I mean, thanks to him, he captured probably the greatest period of bodybuilding history. But believe it or not, Arthur himself, Artie Zeller, was an actual bodybuilder. And as I mentioned earlier, it was because of his back injury early on in his youth that he actually chose to only specialize on his upper body and developed a very amazing physique, just specializing specifically on his biceps. Now Artie Zeller caught the iron bug at 16 years of age, where he was a very frail young boy of 5'5", 120 pounds, 11-inch arms only, and a sunken chest of 34 inches. But to his own fortune, he met Marvin Eder, who later became a teenage sensation, as I've covered in a previous video. And with Marvin, he actually trained with him three times a week, and they became training partners and very good friends. And in about a year and a half, Artie Zeller put on 50 pounds of weight, now weighing 170 pounds. And he had also grown a little taller at 5'7". So on this much larger frame, his arms actually grew to 17 inches, his chest 45 inches, forearms of 13 inches, his waist only 32 inches. And unfortunately, because of his back injury, he couldn't really develop his lower body too much. So because of his back injury, Artie Zeller chose to specialize in his upper body, and in the early 1950s he was, as I mentioned, known for his incredible 17-inch arms, which he attributes to his specialization, especially in curls, in all different types of curls. But he came up with his own type of curl, called the Zeller Curl, because he wanted to increase the size of his biceps even further. And he was well known to use 90-pound dumbbells for this incredible feat of strength almost, the Zeller Curl. Now let's just briefly explain how it's actually performed. As he puts it, many bodybuilders which learnt the Zeller Curl from him made a lot of success. And basically what he did was he would take a dumbbell, and this is how he would put it. He recommended taking a dumbbell that was 15 pounds heavier than what you would normally curl correctly, so basically a much heavier dumbbell. And you would cheat the dumbbell up by swinging it up to the shoulder with a bit of a body swing. And in doing so, you would still try and remain as strict as possible by keeping the elbow tight at the hip. At that point, once the weight is all the way up to your shoulder, you would lower the weight on the negative, on the eccentric, as slowly as possible. So we're talking, 4 to 6 seconds. And because you are going so slow, you would lean back actually to counterbalance the forward pull of the weight, and you would lower the weight very, very slowly. The exercise therefore focuses on the slow negative portion of the dumbbell curl movement with a very, very heavy weight, and one could almost consider this a high intensity principle developed in the 1950s. It's pretty incredible when you look at it that way. So Artie Zeller, well ahead of his time, focusing on negatives after he had basically taxed every single bicep curl that he could think of. He came up with basically the Zeller curl, otherwise known as a heavy negative curl. Very amazing mentality from Artie Zeller. Now here is Artie's upper body routine, which he couldn't actually really focus on his lower body, so he only focused on his upper body, and he had a very, very incredibly strong upper body. Mind you, his training partner was Marvin Eder, so I am not surprised at these incredible poundages that he used. For dips, he would strap 140 pounds, and perform 5 sets of 8 reps. That is pretty amazing. I'm pretty sure Marvin would even use more than that. Zeller curls, as mentioned earlier, he would use 90-pound dumbbells for 3 sets of Zeller curls. He would do dumbbell heavy pullovers using 2 100-pound dumbbells for 5 sets of 8 reps. I'm pretty sure he had a competition with Marvin as to who could move the most weight. And he would finish off his upper body workout by doing wide grip chins with 50 pounds strapped to his body for 5 sets of 10 reps. The results are obvious. He developed a rather impressive upper body. Here he is showing his upper body and wonderful abdominal development, which he gained by using a variety of exercises, including leg raises. And he's showing off his phenomenal development in this very famous pose from the Silver Era, as initially created by Alan Steffen, copied after by Steve Reeves and even Artie Zeller. A phenomenal achievement for a man who really could not do much with his body after his injury, but still developed what he could. A very good example of what can be achieved with willpower. So this video has been as much of an insight to the Zeller curl as it has been a tribute to the great photographer and Silver Era bodybuilding legend Artie Zeller. So thank you very much, Artie Zeller. Although you have passed away, you have left us a true collection of photography from the wonderful era of bodybuilding, the silver and golden eras. And every time we want to pump ourselves up, all we've got to do is get on the internet and click on golden era or silver era of bodybuilding, and we can see all your wonderful work. Here we have Paul Grant struggling on the preacher curl with a dumbbell, Ed Corney admiring the striations across his pectorals, Arnold looking on saying, "Why the hell aren't you lifting?" and Padilla finishing a set of flies, coming up with what looks to be at least 70 to 80 pounds. Wonderful photography from Artie Zeller. Wonderful. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video on Artie Zeller and the Zeller curl. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Thank you for watching, and leave me your comments. If you'd like to support my work, please donate via PayPal or become a patron on www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm. I will be uploading the original article on Artie Zeller and the Zeller curl on my Patreon account, so join for exclusive access to photos, rare photos, articles and books on the golden and silver era and even bronze eras of bodybuilding. You can also purchase rare courses from the silver and bronze era on my website, goldenerabookworm.wixsite.com/website. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding.